Okay, this is a quick recording of how I set up my Aerowinx to display Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. There's the icon there. So I launched the Aerowinx, and by default, out the box, you'll get something like this. If we come to the preferences page under screen, this is where we can start manipulating things. Show title borders, so we can get rid of the title bar across the top. Show info tags, you can see in the left hand corner info tags is coming and going. Show dividers, these green dividers here, I can have them black or green, so at the moment I'll have them green. And we can drag these bars and you get sort of 4 different displays, or we can lock those bars so they won't move once you've got your setup going. So for a minute I'm just going to unlock that, leave this page, drag that out the way, and this is where we can start manipulating the window. And you can see it's just like an ordinary window in Flight Sim, Windows, that we can drag and make different displays. So we can have 4 different displays at once, or we can just have 3 displays, or 2 displays, or even just 1 display. So this is how you can manipulate the views to what you want to do. Now when you've sort of opened the window, and you could have it full blown like any other window, in the corner of each left hand screen there's the minus and plus. So this is where you can start creating your cockpit. All the displays are the same, and if I zoom right out on all of them just to demonstrate that the whole cockpit is displayed, and using the right mouse I can drag it, and they all scroll down to the same display. As you can see, the further I go down, the further we zoom out. So for my Microsoft setup, I sort of bring the window down just to the edge of the left, and the bottom just down into the corners here, and then I'll drag that one across to give me the full screen display. And this is where I can start manipulating my views. Now in the layout, so we've been playing around with the screen and the frames. I'm going to leave that for a minute. I'm going to come up to the layout button. This is where we can save a layout, load a saved layout, and sort of have our buttons, which is 9 displays that we can change on the fly, and wherever we leave that display and save it, that's exactly where it'll appear. So I'm just going to manipulate this display to show you. So for my captain side of the cockpit, if you like, this is where I can sort of blow it up and bring it down to look something like that, and then I can sort of come here and think, right, I want to see the throttles for my takeoff position, and I sort of want it to look like that. So I've got these 2 displays up here. I don't really want them on the first setting, which would be my setting number 1. So I'm just going to drag them out of the way up to there, bring my window back down to where I sort of want to set it, and then set up my captain's flying cockpit. This is where I can blow it up or shrink it, so if I want a little bit more or a little bit less, and maybe on that side there I just want that set, something like that. So that's number 1. What I could do to save time is copy number 1 to layout number 2. Copy now, so when I go to layout number 2 I've got the same. So then maybe I want to look at my flight management computers on setting number 2. I'll bring that down, and now I've got setting 1, setting 2. Now I'm going to copy 2 to 3, and now number 3 I might want the center console to sort of be in focus, maybe something like that, and there's my number 3. So I've got now 1, 2, 3, and that's how easy it is to sort of change the views. You can name these by just typing over, we'll call that the throttles, and that's done. So if I was to, I'm happy with my saves. I've taken my borders off, I've taken my dividers away to make them black, and I'm happy with that. Now I can lock the subframe, so as if I try to move that by accident now, or I'm fiddling with the buttons, I actually don't disturb my display. And I can save my display as default, or whatever you want to call it, and then I can actually load a display. Oh, sorry, save as I don't know, we'll call it that one, doesn't really matter. So we've saved our layout, and then we can go and load a layout. So I'll load one that I use all the time, which is that one there, after I've manipulated it all. And now you can see I've decided to go for a circuit breaker page, cruise page for radios, an overhead panel sort of cruise page, captain flying, flight management computers, center console back, overhead panel 1, overhead panel 2. So that's how you can manipulate the layout. And then when you launch your Microsoft Flight Simulator, you do exactly the same with that window, like you would any other window, whether if it's just like a browser, you'd open Flight Sim, go into the windowed mode, and then you can drag your display of Microsoft Flight Simulator to sit exactly where you want it to sit over your panel. So we'll set it up to the edge, and then you'd have your Microsoft Simulator here, and you'd have your panel down here, and you can assign them to buttons then, and just flick through whichever panel you want to use, and that's how I set up my PSX. I hope that's been useful to you. Remember your preferences within the screen to lock them, to have the dividers turned off, or whether you want a windowed mode, and that's how you do it in there. And obviously your layouts, you can save as many layouts as you like. I've got one for when I'm flying, and I've also got one set up for when I'm co-piloting, and now I can scroll through my co-pilot panel as if I'm sat in the right hand seat, and I've got a cruise page and an overhead page for when I'm flying in that mode. So I hope that's been useful to you all, and that's how easy it is to set up. Just got to play with the settings, save them, and the system will remember. If I load a different layout, like a left demo, it will remember. If I was to bring that, I can't because I've locked it. Let me just unlock that and go to border. If I was to put that there, next time when I load the layout, it will remember exactly where on the screen you set things. So that's another added benefit and feature. Very easy to do once you sort of suss it out. So I hope that's been useful to somebody.